In our last episode, Benny. After being patched up by Doc Mitchell, I ask him, what do I do now?
You should talk to Sunny Smiles before you leave town. She can help you learn to fend for yourself in the desert. She'll likely be at the saloon. I reckon some of the other folks at the saloon might be able to help you out too. And the metal fella, Victor, who pulled you out of your grave. Anyway, you ever get hurt out there, you come right back. I'll fix you up. But try not to get killed anymore.
I am a Bible-thumping beta male. Even ketchup is too spicy for me. No, thank you. So we make our way out the door, and we can see the saloon that Dr. Phil mentioned directly ahead. I've installed a mod that allows me to look down and see my feet. I wish I could do this in real life, but I can't because I have too much personality. It's because I wear slutty dresses. Yeah, that's it. That's what I meant when I said it was hypocritical of me to make fun of that girl. It has nothing to do with her weight. Whew. The naifs will totally believe that lie. I just gotta make sure to edit this part out of the video before I upload it, and not leave it in on accident like I did with the porno mods showing the bare tits. As we look on the ground, we see countless trillions of grains of sand. Each and every one of these grains of sand have their own unique story to tell, and I hope to cover each and every one in its own dedicated 40-minute lore video, so that I can make money. Another thing that having too much personality prevents me from doing in real life is sprinting. There is a mod which allows a player to move at an unrealistic supersonic speed, but I don't have that installed, so the game's natural, realistic sprinting speed will have to do for now. But as we reach the saloon, I have to stop for a breather, because even walking to my mailbox leaves me winded and gasping for breath due to my too much personality. To our right, we can see an older black gentleman who clearly has to work for a living and is thus not a refined and classy gentleman such as myself. Normally, I would not give a commoner such as this the time of day unless he paid me in Super Chat. But I have to milk the Fallout franchise for all it is worth so that I can become filthy rich and bring about a great change in society. So I must bite the bullet and talk to this black gentleman, even though his skin color makes me very uncomfortable. I should have installed a mod to make him turn white, just like I did with Ranger Andy, but it is too late for that now. So let's talk to him and hope he doesn't bust a cap in my ass.
Howdy. What can Easy Pete do for you?
Why are you called Easy Pete?
Was a prospector until I decided to settle here to get away from the NCR. Now we'll just take it easy and help out with the Brahmin and Bighorners.
We can ask him if he knows anything about the trolls that attacked me.
The one in the fancy suit seemed to be calling the shots. That's as much as I know. Other folks in town might know more. Word of advice, though, if you ever catch up with him, watch out. The man's got cold eyes like a snake. Can't be trusted, I'd say.
Easy Pete is right. There are two kinds of people you can't trust. Those with eyes like a snake, and those who sell snake oil. As a marketer of fine snake oil beard products, I can attest to this. You were a prospector, like digging for gold and silver?
Nah. Means I poke through old buildings looking for working tech and such. Some folks just call it salvaging, but never liked the term. Way I see it, salvage means it's broken, near worthless. Me, I look for the good stuff. Guns, chems, spare parts. Good money in it.
Did you ever find anything good while prospecting?
Nope. Had a pretty good claim once, way out east by the river, but got run off by raiders. Eventually got too old to keep going out.
There are a number of sites associated with prospecting way out east by the Colorado River. Any one of these could be the claim Easy Pete is referring to, such as the Smith Mesa Prospector Camp or the Cliffside Prospector Camp. There is nothing that conclusively ties Easy Pete to any of these locations, but they are near the river, and their name alone connects them with prospecting. So it is conceivable that he knew of these places years ago. But the Colorado River is very long, and much of it isn't even included in New Vegas. We will likely never know where Easy Pete's promising claim truly was, and it might very well have been looted in the years since then. The legend of Easy Pete's lost treasure remains a mystery. You've heard of Easy Pete's lost treasure. We all have. The legend, the curses. Foolishness about it lying near the banks of the Colorado, buried beneath a blood-red sand, a bright, shining monument, luring treasure hunters to their doom. Bethesda should hire Obsidian to make a new DLC for New Vegas to tell the story of Easy Pete and his lost treasure. Even though New Vegas is nearly a decade old, a new DLC would be a chance for the game to begin again. Easy Pete's treasure is still out there, in the wastes, preserved, just waiting for someone to crack it open. But getting to it, that's not the hard part. It's letting go. What's wrong with the NCR?
Don't get me wrong, the NCR's got a lot of decent folk in it. It's just that they make you part of them whether you like it or not. Towns like Goodsprings and Prim don't stay independent for long, not if you've got something the NCR wants. Still, the NCR keeps the Legion away.
Tell me about the Legion.
They're slavers, led by a guy named Caesar, or Caesar. Not sure how you're supposed to say it.
It might be worth noting that Easy Pete is the only character in the base game who is unsure of how to pronounce the name of the leader of the Legion. A good rule of thumb is that anyone who says Kaiser is likely a supporter of the Legion.
I want you to teach everyone you meet the lesson that Caesar's Legion taught here, especially any NCR troops you run across.
And anyone who says Caesar likely opposes them.
I'm speaking figurative. Isn't any blood on their damn hands. Of course, when Caesar comes walking through here, there'll be blood for real. And after the blood dries in the sun, he'll melt that piece of jet-induced sculpture down and reshape it into a bull, which by my reckoning is making up for a deficiency of his. But no matter what the state of his pecker, he's sure giving the West a good fucking.
Easy Pete is the only NPC uncertain of how to pronounce it, which may suggest he is on the fence on whether to support the Legion or not. The fact that he says he settled in Goodsprings to get away from the NCR may also suggest that he holds some pro-Legion sentiments. An unlikely, yet possible scenario is that Easy Pete could be one of the Legion's frumentari, who was sent in advance by the Legion years ago in order to infiltrate and gather intel on the town. This is something we also see happen at Camp McCarran, and that will be covered at some point in a future video.
A couple of years ago, they tried to take over Hoover Dam, but the NCR beat them back. The NCR didn't or couldn't finish the job, though. The Legion's got its strength back and is getting ready for another round at the dam. My money's still on the NCR winning, but you never know. We've been hearing stories about legionaries on the Nevada side of the river, so keep a gun handy. You don't want to get caught by them.
What's so important about Hoover Dam?
The dam powers a lot of New Vegas, and then there's all that clean water lying in Lake Mead, too. Anybody who owns the dam owns the territory.
What do you use bighorners for?
Meat and hide, mostly. Can't put a pack on them. You just lay down until you take it off. Can find a bunch of wild ones high up in the hills, but gotta be careful around them. They can put up a decent fight if cornered.
Do you know anything about Victor?
The machine? Harmless, no matter what Trudy says. She thinks it's hiding something, but I think it's just a broken-down relic with no place to be.
Goodbye.
Keep your gun handy if you go poking around some of the abandoned places around here, like the schoolhouse. Critters move in there sometimes.
We now take our leave of Easy Pete to learn some much-needed survival skills from Sunny Smiles, whom we encounter as soon as we enter the door of the saloon. She leads us out to the back and tells us to shoot some sunset sarsaparilla bottles.
Now, see the sarsaparilla bottles on the fence there? Take this and try to hit a couple of them.
But this is not the way Easy Pete would want us to do it, and since this video is about him, we will do it the way that he would have wanted us to. For this build, I chose explosives as one of my tagged skills, and as a result, I was bestowed with 12 sticks of dynamite by Doc Mitchell. I will now light and toss one of the sticks to blow up the bottles and complete Sunny's tutorial the Easy Pete way. You mean I still have to shoot these goddamn bottles? Fine. This is more hard work than a classy, refined gentleman such as myself should ever have to
down
do.
And staying still. It'll help your aim. Nice shot. Well, that's a start. But I don't reckon you came to me to learn to fight sarsaparilla bottles. Tell you what, I gotta go chase geckos away from our water supply anyway. Darn critters are attracted to it. Why don't you come along?
No, absolutely not. It is not in my nature to care about others. Maybe if you paid me money.
Suit yourself. Hope this helped you some. I'm heading back now. Hope I didn't miss anything good on the jukebox. Cheyenne would never forgive me. Hey, do me a favor. Trudy, she's the bartender up at the Prospector. Kind of the town mom. She likes to meet newcomers. She'd be cross with me if I didn't ask you to poke your head in and say hi.
the town mom, but a woman cannot have authority over a man. That goes against the Bible. And I go with what the Bible says, because I am a history major, and I know everything.
If you don't have...
As we re-enter the saloon, we see a woman arguing with a person of color. This puts me in an awkward position, because I am a far-right conservative, so my inclination is to not want to side with either one. So instead, I will just stand nearby like an idiot and watch.
And Ringo over soon. I'm going to get my friends and we're burning this town to the ground. Got it?
We'll keep that in mind. Now, if you're not going to buy something, get out.
This is a lore video about Easy Pete, after all. Let's see what he has to say on the matter of Joe
Howdy.
Cobb.
What can Easy Pete do for you? Bad trouble.
That's helpful.
Welcome.
Easy Pete thinks that Joe Cobb is bad trouble. And since this is his lore video, we will do things his way. Mr. Corn on the Cob's days are numbered. His cob shall be shucked by my tiny cadet hands. That sounded bad. I'm gonna have to make sure to edit that out before uploading this. All this talk about shucking another man's cob is filling my head with immoral thoughts. Money always takes my mind off of these kinds of thoughts. So I go back to Mila Kunis and ask her if there are any caps to be made in this town.
Not in Good Springs, no. But if you're up for a little scavenging, there's always the schoolhouse.
Technically, I'm not allowed within 500 feet of a school zone because of the time I got busted for filming teenage girls. But I'm always up for making money. Besides, the school is abandoned, right?
Most of what's in there is junk, but there's this old safe that even Easy Pete wasn't able to crack with dynamite. If you want to take a shot at it, take these.
A magazine on locksmiths?
If the lock's too much for you to handle, reading through the magazine might give you the edge you need.
I don't need to read any magazine. I am a history major, and I know everything. And the bobby pins?
You'll need those to pick the lock. Be careful, though. Put too much pressure on them, and they'll snap.
All right. I'll go take a look at that safe when I have a chance.
Always happy to help someone down on their luck.
And I am always happy to take advantage of the generosity of others in order to suit my own selfish ends. So we make our way towards the abandoned schoolhouse. Inside the schoolhouse, we are confronted by a swarm of mantises, just like Easy Pete warned us about. Ammunition costs money, and these are merely insects, so I feel it would behoove me to simply crush the insects under the immense weight of my personality. Something's not right. The mantises aren't being crushed as I expected. Perhaps I need to jump on them, like Mario. I hate mantises, especially after a mantis slandered me in a rap song recently. rap music is unclassy and immoral. Well, this isn't working. Perhaps one of my mods really fucked things up here. I love to install a ton of mods which fuck up the game and then blame Obsidian for the problems they cause. And then, if anyone questions me on that, I shadow ban them and have their channels terminated for bullying, because that is how I roll. This schoolhouse has already been blasted apart by Easy Pete's prior attempt to crack the safe, so I may as well use another stick of dynamite to blast these accursed mantises. This is what Easy Pete would want me to do. Fire in the hole! Detonating an explosive device inside of a school. You can add that to the list of reasons I'm no longer allowed near a school zone. But the dynamite worked flawlessly. Just one stick took out all of the TKS-Mantises. And now to crack the safe. Inside, we find some minor loot. Perhaps most important is the stealth boy. This will prove useful, as you will soon see. We now make our way to where Joe Cobb is loitering about. We activate the stealth boy, looted from the safe, and sneak towards our target. Now, as you all know, I have tiny cadet hands, and I am a weak, cowardly beta male, so Joe Cobb would easily kick my ass in any fair fight. But a snake oil salesman such as myself never engages in anything that is fair, so we carefully light up a stick of dynamite and then insert it into Joe Cobb's pants.
Ah, shit!
Joe's Cobb has now been shucked. We loot the corpse and find yet another stealth boy to replace the one we just used. These are the two stealth boys which can be found in Good Springs. And with them, or just one of them, it is possible to sneak past the cazadors and deathclaws blocking the roads one would normally avoid taking early in the game. But that is a topic for another video. After looting the corpse, we make sure to drag it off to the side, and then carefully teabag it. This is necessary if one wants to be classy and manly, as I have decreed in my now deleted Manlyfesto. Teabagging corpses also prevents them from rising from the dead as zombies. So, ladies and gentlemen, always make sure to teabag every dead body you come across. Now we make our way back to the saloon to report that Joe Cobb is dead. Off camera, I also stop by the gas station on the hill and have a talk with Ringo, which takes us through the whole Good Springs gunfight questline of convincing the various people in town to assist Ringo against the powder gangers.
Even though Joe Cobb's dead, his friends will come after the town eventually. However, between you, me, and Ringo, we aren't exactly a force to be reckoned with. A lot of people around here look up to Trudy. If you could convince Trudy to join us, some of the folks in town might decide to help out as well. I know Easy Pete's got a stock of dynamite somewhere, and Chet just got a shipment of leather armor we could borrow. Talk to them as well. Easy Pete's pretty protective of his dynamite. You'd have to convince him you know a thing or two about explosives before you handed it over. I'll be waiting.
That is something I feel is worthy of its own dedicated lore video at some point. So for now, we will only focus on Easy Pete and his part in it.
Howdy.
I hear you've got dynamite. It would help us beat the powder gangers. I hear you've got dynamite. It would help us beat the powder gangers.
Too dangerous. Gonna kill all yourselves if I let you touch it. Better to leave it buried. Safer that way.
It is never revealed where he buried the dynamite, or whatever else he might keep buried along with it. But I like to imagine his hidden stash to be something like this. Since explosives are one of my tagged skills, it is no problem at all to pass the speech check to convince Easy Pete to hand over some of his dynamite.
Uh-huh. Guess you know what you're doing. I'll go dig it up and get it ready. You'll have it by the time the fighting starts. Yup.
And now there is nothing to do but sit back and take it easy. Tomorrow is going to be a big day, and the fate of the whole town will depend on the outcome of this coming battle. As a matter of fact, let's wait a couple hours.
Evening.
Excuse me. You act like you haven't seen a classy 400-pound manlet before.
I hope you didn't just bring a heap of trouble down on Good Springs by killing Joe Cobb like that. His friends might come looking for him, and I don't think they're gonna care who was involved in his death or not. Well, what's done is done. So, what can I do for you?
Well, that was strange. But it conveniently gave us enough XP to push us up to level 2. Now, let's see here. Guns up to 25, and melee up to 15. This will help us in the battle ahead. And now we get to select a perk. Homosexuality is immoral and unclassy, and surely I will burn in the fires of hell for all eternity if I select this. But if I can use this perk to have sex with Easy Pete, then that would make this lore video a lot more in-depth and informative, which in turn will help me make more of that sweet YouTube money. And since I'm already going to hell anyway because of the sin of avarice, I may as well embrace homosexuality also. What the hell? Besides, 10% extra damage against male opponents will really help out a lot in the battle tomorrow. All of the powder gangers are male, so this is the most logical perk choice to go with. This is the most logical perk choice to go with. So now I am a confirmed bachelor. For some reason, I now feel a terrible sense of loss as I look at Trudy's ass. I no longer feel the urge to zoom in on her ass. Instead,
Like a shooting star, you appeared before me, and you been all my life.
Easy Pete lives in an inauspicious, broken-down home directly in front of the saloon, and adjacent to the Bighorner pen. We follow him into the house to see what sort of sweet, sweet lore we may uncover, and hopefully to also have sex with him. Now, if we should happen to see any folders with BOS stickers on them, or bare naked breasts in here, don't blame me. That's Obsidian's fault. Nothing is ever my fault, and I will never apologize for anything. Upon entering the house, we look to our right and see a table with a hammer, a pencil, and a wooden crate, with 2 empty bottles of Sunset Sarsaparilla. Every single item within this house is marked as unowned and free to take. It would appear that Easy Pete doesn't mind sharing with others. I guess he isn't a Calvinist. Easy Pete's kitchen/dining room is fairly typical of the post-apocalyptic homes of the wasteland. There is a rusted sink, and in the oven we find a gecko steak. Easy Pete has already drifted off to sleep, so it would seem that sex with him is out of the question. Why he chose to sleep in the small child-sized bed is a mystery. In the master bedroom, we find a huge bed, which is where we will sleep for the night. As with everything else, the bed is unowned, so this can serve as great player housing. There is even a chest at the foot of the bed for storage. In front of the bed, there is a desk, which can also be used for storage. And on the desk is a broken TV, a teddy bear, a BB gun with some BBs, and some buff out. If one wanted to be a BB gun build character, this would be the place to go, to grab a BB gun early on in the game. These items, as well as the child-sized bed in the room nearby, suggests a child once lived here. Did Easy Pete have a child that he raised in this house, and who has since grown up and moved away? Or was this from before Easy Pete settled into Good Springs? We may never know. Well, time to go to bed. We have a big day ahead of us tomorrow. We get up bright and early with a brand new lore video. A quick talk with Ringo up at the gas station will trigger the battle with the powder gangers. As I said, this is something I will cover in more detail in its own separate lore video. So I will fast forward through this for now.
All right, I'm ready. I hope.
Time to look alive. The powder gangers are here to play.
Mila Kunis arrives to inform us that the powder gangers have arrived, and more importantly, that Easy Pete came through with the dynamite.
At least 6. They look pretty mean. Oh, Easy Pete came through with the dynamite. Here's your supply. I really hope I don't blow myself up.
This will prove very useful indeed.
I'll be set up near the store. Let's hope that the gang doesn't manage to make it that far.
My #1 priority in this battle will be to protect Easy Pete at all costs. This is his lore video, after all, so if he were to die, then that would be a failure of epic proportions. We must be careful to use the dynamite safely, so there is no collateral damage. Fortunately, I happen to be a history major, and I know everything. The dynamite does its job perfectly, and we then swap to our knife to finish off what is left of it. We cut through the powder gangers like a hot knife through butter. For as we all know, the powder gangers can't win at anything.
I owe you a huge favor for this.
Quiet, you. This isn't your lore video. Easy Pete survived the fight, though it appears he lost a few health bars from it. Nothing that Doc Mitchell can't patch up good as new. Let's see if he has anything new to say.
That ought to keep things settled for a while. Hope it stays that way. Keep your gun handy if you go poking around some of the abandoned places around here, like the schoolhouse. Wasteland critters like to move in when Sonny's not looking, so watch out.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the legend of Easy Pete. Now, a lesser Fallout lore YouTuber would stop right here. But, then again, a lesser Fallout lore YouTuber would not even make an Easy Pete lore video at all. But I am not a lesser Fallout lore YouTuber. I am the greatest Fallout lore son of a gun that ever lived. So I will go above and beyond what you might expect into the realm of conjecture. Our time in Good Springs is nevertheless done. I now set off on the long road to a little-known place called Vault 11. To get there, I took the standard path of following the road south to the I-15, then headed east to Nipton, and then on up to Novak. Now, making a beeline to Vault 11 at only level 2 on very hard difficulty is a bit of a challenge. But as we all know, I am a history major, and I know everything. Now, if only I had enough sense to use console commands to instantly teleport myself there. It would have saved me a lot of trouble, but hey, it is what it is.
Come on! Got enough?
Watch yourself, profligate. Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
I am severely underleveled for this location, but the special gun I swiped from Cliff Briscoe along the way really helps make a difference. But some of the mantises are stubborn and like to hide behind an invisible wall where I can't shoot them. This is where Easy Pete's patented dynamite comes in handy. Eventually, the TKS-Mantises are cleared out, and we can explore the entrance of the vault more thoroughly. Now, the tale of Vault 11 is a lore video unto itself, and I'll cover that at some point in the future in more depth. On the floor, we see 4 skeletons, and in the back, we see a computer terminal. This computer terminal holds an interesting audio log, which may shed some light regarding Easy Pete's backstory. Let's play the tape and hear what it has to say.
Are we really gonna do this? It's open. We could just leave.
I couldn't. Not after that.
We don't deserve to leave. A shining example. That's what it called us. But we were. We did what we were supposed to. Not by a long shot. Anybody would have done what we did.
You ask me? That's exactly the problem. Now let's get on with this.
I'll go first. Wait. People should know what happened. They could learn from it. If there's anyone out there at all, I hope they never have to find out. Ready, Harry? Yeah. No, wait!
One of the voices heard in the recording sounds like Easy Pete. According to the lore of Vault 11, which we will cover at some point in the future, there were 5 survivors of the experiment up until this point here at the entrance. In the tape we hear that young Easy Pete was the sole voice of reason among the 5. We then hear 4 gunshots, and Easy Pete drops his gun and sighs. There are 4 skeletons at the entrance, so there was one sole survivor, and that sole survivor was Easy Pete. After leaving the vault, Easy Pete spent many years as a prospector, and then finally, in his old age, settled down as a bighorner rancher in the town of Good Springs. Does he suffer from survivor's guilt at being the only survivor of this vault where everyone else perished? He would hardly be alone in this regard. Chris Haverson just so happens to be the sole survivor of another vault, Vault 34. But that is a tale for another time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our lore video for today. Easy Pete is a shining example to humanity. I think he is an interesting character with a lot of depth and a very interesting backstory, though you have to rely on conjecture to fill in most of it. What do you think of Easy Pete? Do you agree with me that Bethesda should hire Obsidian to make a new DLC going in depth on the backstory of Easy Pete? Or do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of your comments and shadow ban those I don't approve of. If you like what I do, and you want to help me bring about a dystopian alt-right society, please consider funding my political agenda on Patreon. Patreon subscribers get to suck my dick on Discord, as well as a lot of other cool perks. But don't swear on my Discord, or I will ban your ass, whether you gave me money or not, because that's how I roll. I have a beard pill shop, folks. You aren't a man if you don't have a beard, and if you aren't a man, you aren't a human being. So make sure you buy those beard pills and tonics. Join me next time, bright and early, for another exciting lore video, where I will rant about property rights and other neckbeard topics that have nothing to do with Fallout, but I like to shove them in anyway. Thank you for watching, but more than anything, I'm just so glad to take your money and become filthy rich.
Woo, Benny!
Fucking Thomas, dude.
Yeah.
He's out of his mind.
He's actually genuinely funny sometimes too.
He's fucking hilarious. His vernacular is off the charts, man.
You would think a guy who, like, his normal speaking voice is so off-putting, but he can do impressions really well. You think he would just do an impression as his voice. Like, he could be like speaking like fucking John Travolta or something. But
He sounds like
he's too real, and he'll speak at his normal, like,
his normal voice is Ray Romano. Ray Romano doing a Kermit the Frog impression.
Yeah, it's Ray Romano after he fucking took a whippet.